Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 124 on March 20th, 2019. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
And Jimmy Tremmel.
Well, hello. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Unfortunately, our resident Matthew Ross was attacked by germs from his public school job, and I've posited my theory many times on this show that public schools are actually biological testing facilities for the government. That's why they get government funding, is so they can grow all these super germs. I know I never got as sick as I have since my kids started school. Oh my God, the things they bring home. Now imagine having to work in that environment on a daily basis. Hey, W. Scottis One just subscribed for 12 months in a row. Thank you.
Wow, how about that?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can get that
Thank you.
shark dance. But
Shark dance.
how you guys doing tonight? What's going on?
Oh, man. It's busy weeks at work.
Yeah,
That can be good.
Yep,
Yeah.
same with me. I mean, man, God almighty. Just, like I was telling Clyde, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
Yeah, it's like somebody just all of a sudden decided this last week that, oh, hey, you guys should probably do something in addition to what you'd normally do. And it's been crazy. And to the point where it was like, I'm looking forward to the weekend. But as I was telling Jimmy beforehand, then I found out today I get no weekend because of power issues, and they need to shut down a couple floors on my building, and one of them may end up being our data center, and this is Friday evening.
Ouch.
Life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sounds like welcome to my world, right? I can count on 2 fingers the amount of weekends I've had off so far this year.
all right. Well, why don't we? We're a little bit behind, so why don't we get right into it, gentlemen? What are we talking about this week?
Well, our first story is PlayStation View multi-picture mode comes to Apple TV. So it seems like Sony finally updated their app to bring this feature to Apple TV now. And looking at the article now, it looks like a pretty slick feature. Don't know why it took them longer to go to Apple TV. Maybe there's an approval process, perhaps. I don't know.
Well,
But glad, I got to say, I've used other apps, and I'm not a PlayStation View subscriber. I have used other apps that have this. One in particular, if you're a golf fan, right? The Masters app, when the Masters golf tournament is on, that's an excellent picture-in-picture feature that they have in that app.
so
Right.
let me. Maybe I'm confused. Is PlayStation View already offering this on other platforms? Because I was thinking that this is the first time. So, does anybody know?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't think this is available anywhere else. So
Oh.
rather than it finally Oh,
they're the first platform to have it. Is that what
oh,
you're
I
saying?
mean,
Is that what the article said?
so yeah, W. Scottus One says they offered it previously. So okay, I
Okay.
haven't used PlayStation View since the last time we tested it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've had it on the PlayStation app. Uh,
I never
so
tried
okay,
the features, so
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that Apple was getting it first. But I don't remember anybody talking about it for any of the other platforms, and I don't typically use it. So yeah, if you like to watch multiple things at once, then and you use Apple TV, then rejoice, you can do it.
Well, that's good for sports, especially,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, is there anything else that you would use it other than for sports, right? I mean, I can't think of another use case of it. Not really.
No, unless you're. This was 2004, and Stargate SG1 is showing on 4 different channels all at the same time. You could watch like 4 different episodes all at once. Um, because I mean, the commercials would be in different places, so you just switch between. But
Yeah, I guess that's true. You could watch the original season of Star Trek, the next generation Star Trek, in 2 different frames, I suppose.
that is if they're airing at the same time. Um,
Yeah.
that's the clincher. But I guess they can you can do VODs in the multi-picture, right? So yeah, rock on.
Yeah.
I don't know what the use case is outside of sports, but okay, rock on.
yeah.
Good.
So there's this little company called Movie Pass. We've talked about them a few times. Anybody using Movie Pass right now? Anybody anywhere using Movie Pass? Oh, you are, Clyde. So you went back. What drew you back to Movie Pass?
This story that you're about to read.
Well, the neat thing about Movie Pass is that for $10 a month, you get an unlimited viewing of movies in the theater. Now, wait a minute. That drove them bankrupt. Well, they went bankrupt, so they decided to up their prices, and they upped their prices a lot. And guess what? Everybody quit. And so now they've said, well, everybody's quitting with the higher prices. Maybe we should lower our price again.
See,
All right, Clyde,
it's
tell us how this makes any sense.
all right. Well, it was enough to get me to come back. So multiply me by how many other people. I have not been going to movies since I got rid of my, because I tried the Cinemia thing last summer, and then but really didn't like their app.
Right.
But yeah, I was actually the other day I was thinking, I was like, oh, there's all these movies coming out for the summer, and I'm probably not going to see them because I'm not really motivated to go to the theater, especially if I have to pay a bunch of money. And I just went and saw a bunch of movies over the last couple weeks with my kids because they wanted to see, they were movies for them, not for me. And it was like, and then I saw an article that said it's back. So just like herpes, this plan never truly goes away.
So how long until this drives them bankrupt again, though?
Well, it's limited, so I don't know how long they're going to offer this. Number
There you
one,
go.
it's limited, and number two, there's you still have some of the things in place that they had done previously, like peak show times. You may have to pay a little bit extra. Then and not everybody's going to flock to this like before because there's no guarantee that you get to see the movie that you want when you want. But
And that $10 a month price requires a 1-year
yes,
subscription. So
but there is a monthly option, but it costs $15. It's $14.95. I even though it technically costs $48 a year more than if you just pay up front, I
right.
opted for the monthly because I like I mean, just like Amazon Prime, I pay monthly because I like the knowledge that I can quit. Because I don't know what the experience is going to be like. I don't know if I'm going to, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to rage quit like I have 3 times before. And yeah, but hello, my name is Clyde, and I signed up for Movie Pass again.
Yeah, well, it will be interesting to see how long it lasts this time. I mean, unlimited. I mean, how long did it last time? Do you remember?
Oh, I mean, it went for like 2 years.
Wow.
I jumped off the bus at one point because they had, the rules were starting. They were trying things, and I wasn't real happy with what was happening, and I just said I'm not interested, and I bailed. So I don't know. We'll
But
see.
this time of year would be a good time to do that, though,
Exactly,
right?
and that's why I
Because
said I've got nothing to lose. I
yeah, all
mean,
the summer
I
movies are coming up,
I
right? I
signed
mean,
up. I signed up for the monthly, so
yeah.
if it's not great, I'm out $14. So well,
Well, I mean,
um,
Right.
even if you was going to do the yearly, right? I mean, right now would not be a bad time to sign up, right?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean it would be a good thing. This would be a perfect time to sign up if you're someone
Mhm.
that's comfortable paying the yearly. No, if
I mean,
you're because for if you're not somebody that has like subscription anxiety, there's nothing I hate more than paying for something and then realizing I can't use it and there's no way to get that money back.
I mean, you think about it. So if you sign up for a year's subscription, how many movies would you need to see? 10 to 15? And then you'd get your money back and then some,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. But what happens if you find out that you can never, that the hoops are just too much and you're not willing to jump through them and you never actually see any movies, then you're out $120 is what I'm saying. So that's why I opted for the 14 because if the experience isn't good, I can cancel it and I'm out like $20 as opposed to 120.
So
But
you think they might do that, restrict it down to where you can only see the movies that nobody wants to see?
well, I mean, it says in the article that um, that the film choices can be restricted due to high demand. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm saying there's no guarantee you'll be able to see the movie you want at the time you want. For me, this typically works pretty good because I typically end up going to the late movie, and I'm the only
Mhm.
one in the theater, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I mean, if you're
So,
trying to go at a peak, like 7, 8 p.m. on a Saturday, there's a good chance you're probably not going to be able to get a ticket.
Yeah.
right. So,
So
but if you're up for going to see the movies at 9 o'clock in the morning, then you might be okay, right?
yeah, if it's 9 o'clock, if I'm awake at 9 o'clock in the morning, it means I'm at work. Um, you can ask my kids; they don't see me till about noon on the weekends. Um, so yeah, I'll report in when as these things.
Yeah.
I should have my card in 7 to 10 days. So, yeah,
Right.
we'll see. Just in time to start seeing some good movies like Avengers, Endgame, and Us, and Curse of La Llorona. I'm definitely going to go see
Yeah.
that with a movie pass. Everybody, get a movie pass and go see the Curse of La Llorona.
No, The Hustle is the movie for the year.
Mm.
The Hustle.
I
Go
think
see
the Hustle is the movie pass program.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So next up, we have this little small startup company out in Cupertino, California, known as Apple. They have announced
Never
that
heard of them.
they're small startup. Nobody much has heard of those guys, right? Um, but anyway, they're going to have an announcement to make next Monday on the 25th. And looks like that they're going to be announcing a video service of some sort, right? First time that they've publicly said that they're going to have one, right? And so I think it starts up at about 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. So they're going to be having a big announcement of what this new service is going to look like. A lot of rumors out there as to what it's going to be. But the Engadget article says that, guess what? There's going to be no live sports. Yeah. Okay. Maybe there's no live sports, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Some of the rumors that I read, I don't think you see them in this article, but some of the ones I saw is that they're wanting to have additional content other than just their own original content, similar to what Netflix has done in the past and what Hulu does now, right? Interesting to see what that would be. The rumors that I've read seem to reference the premium channels such as HBO, Stars, Showtime, that kind of thing. So would that be Apple's play here to have their original content plus subscribe to all the premium type channels? I don't know. I don't know if that would be appealing or not. Maybe. I mean,
Well,
depends on how it's packaged, right?
I mean,
But
if it's an over the top competitor to Sling and PlayStation View,
Mhm.
that allows you to incorporate add-on channels in, I mean that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Because I mean that's where the market's going,
Mhm.
and people like paying one flat payment rather than 10 payments, to different services. Um,
Exactly.
So, yeah, curious to see. As we talked about last week, I'm pretty sure our Apple correspondent will have
Yeah.
watched and dissected the entire thing, so that we won't have to, and we'll
I,
check in with him to get the skinny.
I'll definitely report in detail next week what they say and what this is all about. Although I'll say this, right? And obviously I'm the biggest Apple fan here, right? But um, their original content, I'm very interested in, right? I'm very interested in see what their original content are.
Yeah.
But as far as like a subscription, right? I'm also a big Hulu fan, right? Hulu, I'm going to have that service no matter what,
Hmm.
right? And because they throw in a live or video on demand type service along with it, live television and all. It's hard for me to go out beyond that, right? Because just for a few dollars more, I can have the live subscription
Yep.
tacked on to that service. So if it's the same as what Hulu offers already, then okay, the original content is compelling, but to go to pay Apple another subscription fee just to get their original content, and I mean, do I ditch the live television from Hulu? I guess I could to sign up for the Apple service. I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, all in all, it depends on what the packages are, right? That they
Yeah.
they come up with, right? But interesting to see what it is. I'm most excited though about the original content.
Yep. Absolutely. So, we'll see. So,
Yep.
all right. What's next?
Well, we've talked a little bit about VR and stuff, and now VR is starting to come to its own. This is, as far as I know, the launch of the first real VR service. HTC is going to release a new service called Viveport Infinity. It's going to be $13 a month or $100 per year, and it will give you access to more than 600 VR-based apps and games that will be able to be compatible with both the Vive headsets and the Oculus Rift, plus a large number of other headsets that are kind of standalone, independently built, that are based on the Vive Wave platform. So it should actually have pretty good flexibility in things that it's in devices that you can use it with, and gives you a pretty good number of different apps and things to do. So it's really interesting to me because it opens up the usability and use of VR related devices, which is really the barrier for adoption, I think.
Yep,
right?
yep.
If there's no games or no apps, then nobody's going to join. Now we've got a service that gives you easy access to all of those.
Yeah, one thing that they're doing with this that I think is cool is as a way to entice developers on to produce content for the platform. They're offering they're giving like taking an 80% cut of the revenue from the start of April till through the end of the year. So, or any creator who brings their apps to Viveport will get an 80% cut of the revenue on that, which is huge. And there are also incentives for anybody that's currently a subscriber to the Wave, it's the Wave platform. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see how this goes. Right now, this is mainly this isn't for Jimmy. This isn't for just the casual user. This is for the bleeding edge people that understand that not everything there is going to be compelling. A lot of what you're going to get is kind of just mobile game stuff like Angry Birds VR. But somebody needs to do this in order, because there isn't really a place for VR content that is driving developers, that is driving consumers. So, and the fact that it's cross platform, and they can use it on the Oculus as well. That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously I'm not the demographic for this, right? But I don't know. I guess the question in my mind about this service is it strong? Is it a strong enough offering to stand on its own? I don't think so. I think they would do better if they bundled it with some other service, right? Some other gaming service or maybe some other subscription service. Bundle that in with something else, maybe it would be something like a Sling TV or whatever. But probably it would pair well with something like some other gaming service along with it. Pair this in there with it, and I think, and then once the implementation of VR finally gets there to where we want it to be, then it'll probably be strong enough to stand up its own.
The problem with bundling it is the fact that this is for very specific hardware that doesn't support other platforms being bundled in. And if you, let's say they bundled it in with something else, if you don't have this hardware, it means absolutely nothing to you. Because
it's true, but I would argue this point, right, is that if you own a pair of these goggles, you probably also own like a gaming console, right? Like an Xbox or a PlayStation, right? And if you have a subscription to one of those two, wouldn't it make sense to bundle that in?
Well, I mean, at some point, I think they will. But right now, this is more of a beta test.
Right.
This is
I think
because anybody that shelled out the $800 for this hardware, they're going to jump on this. So this is for them.
Absolutely. They got to spend a little bit more money to protect their investment, of course.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple of things here. I agree. I mean, remember the prices have come down
Mhm.
quite a bit. So, 800 is what you initially paid for the Vive headset. Now I think it's down to 500 or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. There are a lot of people that are happy with VR, but are frustrated by how hard or how limited the apps are. So it's not necessarily easy to get all of the apps that you want, to find new things to do and stuff like that. So that small subset of users, and yeah, it's not like the millions of users that play video games. This is a very small subset of users, but that group of people is definitely going to be willing to spend a little bit of money to make it easier to find new games and new apps and new things to do with this device that they are so invested in.
Mhm.
And the other aspect to it is really important that Clyde kind of pointed out was the 80% cut that they're giving to developers. This is also a large push to help build that library, that repository of games and things that is going to make VR a compelling option for people that aren't just VR nuts and leading users and early adopters and stuff. This is going to be the thing that makes it a compelling, hopefully, that makes it a compelling offering for a much larger variety of people and get more users on board.
Yeah. And now I will shift into my normal role of the naysayer and saying we're giving the developers 80% is a nice way of saying we're keeping 20% as opposed to the normal 30 that everybody else
Yeah,
takes.
that's exactly right.
So 80%, it sounds awesome until you flip it and you realize, oh, it's only like 10%
But
different. But still, I
But
mean,
10%
it
it
can
is a
be.
third less than what other people are
It is.
charging.
It is.
That's a huge increase in what the users get.
It is.
You're starting to get to a point where that number actually makes sense, right? Like 20%, keeping 20% for the company, well, they are the ones that are incurring all of the credit card fees and
Mhm.
all of the costs of managing the billing and the
Oh, no, I'm
taxing.
not saying it's a bad thing. I'm
So,
just saying they carefully that there was a conversation where they decided, how do we say this? Giving you
yeah.
80 sounds a lot better than us keeping 20, so let's
Mhm.
go that route. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing. I just thought it was kind of funny,
Yeah.
the words they chose. So yeah, hopefully eventually I'll have a space that I can justify using the Vive, because I absolutely loved it when I used it. And that was like 3 years ago. So um, I can't imagine how much better it is now. But all right,
All
next.
right. So next up, we have a thing called DC Universe,
Never
right?
heard of it.
Yeah. Well, it's not AC/DC, but DC Universe. Um, they have a offering, and they're going to be offering free episodes, right? The first episodes of a few of their exclusive shows that they have, right? I think Titans, Doom Patrol, Young Justice, Outsiders. Um, so they're going to be offering the first episodes of those shows starting on March 15th, which was, 5 days ago,
Hmm.
all the way until March 29th.
So not starting. They're doing it now.
Now they're doing it now.
So yeah, if you want to
And
check it out.
I'll tell you, this type of service does interest me, and knowing that they have these free episodes up there, that might be a way to just check it out to
Oh yeah,
see,
it's
right? And I don't know, maybe I might try it out. I might try a month or two subscription to these guys. Who knows?
yeah. I see, and this is what Showtime does.
Mhm.
Showtime usually offers the first couple episodes
Mhm.
without any subscription. You can just watch it,
Mhm.
like Billions.
Right.
is back, and I saw an ad the other day that says watch the first 3 episodes now, which completely confused me because I was like, I swear there's only 1 episode out. But and
Maybe they meant.
but I mean, it works. It works. I mean, that's YouTube did the same thing to get people in, streaming the first couple episodes of Cobra Kai. So I mean, it's a good model. I'm surprised more people don't do it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to try at least a couple of these episodes, right? Just to check out the service, right?
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, something like this you should take advantage of, I think. If you're even just slightly interested in it. I mean, just check out the service. Is the video quality good?
All right.
Those kind of things. Right?
Well, I'm going to issue you guys a challenge, and also everybody out there in the chat realm. This weekend or this week, watch something on the DC channel, and then we'll check back next week. Don't care about the content, whether it's good or not. Just want to know, is the platform, what you think.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
Cool. Next.
All right. Well, if you have been waiting for your Deep Space Nine remastered HD fix, then your wait has maybe sort of slightly ended. This is really interesting because if you're at all familiar with Deep Space Nine, it was not recorded in such a way that would make it easy to digitally remaster all of the special effects and stuff to get an HD quality experience. And so, because of the popularity of Deep Space Nine, which is not as successful as the Next Generation, or it doesn't really seem like it would make a lot of sense for them to spend a ton of money doing the effort of digitally remastering it to provide HD quality. So a interested fan decided he would take a crack at it. He used AI technology and neural networks to create a simulated remaster of one of the episodes of Deep Space Nine, and it turned out really pretty good. So it's an interesting experiment. It's not a full thing. He wouldn't be able to put it together with all of the episodes and stuff like that, but so I guess he didn't really do the full thing. He just did 5 minutes, and it took him several days to do it. So it's not like he could do this for all of the episodes himself.
Well, he could. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. But it actually turned out really well, and it looked pretty close to 4K quality HD imagery. So
yeah, this is interesting. Neat. I think it's pretty neat. Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, using an AI is smart because, if the AI, if you don't have a machine that's able to do it, it's not worth the time and effort to have a human do it, which is why CBS is has had no interest in even trying that up to this point.
I do want to clarify. I think I said that it was 4K. He remastered it in 1080p and did an analysis in 4K, and that would take even longer and be even harder.
So somebody do the math. This was an hour show, right? So 45 minutes?
5 minutes.
No, I'm saying the show was an hour.
Oh, yes, 45 minutes of show.
So about 45 minutes. There are 176 episodes. So what is 176 times 45? And then divide it by... So every 5 minutes takes 2 days. Tell me how long it would take.
7 years for him to do it.
I mean, theoretically, you could have multiple machines working on different episodes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was done on his own personal PC.
Yeah.
So, um, if you farmed it out into a cloud or something like that, you could certainly get it done any number of orders of magnitude faster, right? Depending on how much money you were willing to throw at the cloud.
Mhm.
But for an individual doing it on their own computer, it would take almost 9 years to do it that way.
Yeah.
And that
Crowdsource
is,
it.
again, taking it up to 1080p.
So what he needs to do is he needs to start a community online, the DS9 Preservation Society, where people sign on and take ownership of a single episode. You get 176 people to each do one episode. You could probably have it done in a couple weeks.
Yeah, certainly a possibility. However, this gets to the other issue as to why you're never going to actually see full episodes of these remastered in HD, and that is because CBS and its parent company, they like to take good care of that intellectual property and to clamp down really hard on anything that they don't approve of. So actually getting this created and released, it's not going to happen, at least not without some real changes in the perspective that they have on things. So
yeah, no, it will never get this. They could do it as a task of love, but it will never get the blessing of Paramount.
The trick is, if they did that with the task of love, they wouldn't legally be able to share it.
No.
At that point. So they'd have to render it for their own viewing purposes.
And oops, it leaked out onto the internet. Somebody hacked my computer.
Yeah.
All 176 of us got hacked. So, yeah. All right. Well, yeah. If you are a DS9 lover and you think that would be a worthwhile endeavor, you should figure out who did that and reach out to him and start that society.
It's Capt Robau. Robau? Robau. CAPTROBAU.
So it's Captain Robo.
Yeah, sure.
It looks French.
Mm-hmm.
CAPT is short for captain. So, all right.
Oh, I got that part.
What's Snapchat up to?
Snapchat? I thought the next one was a little startup out in California, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, that little company.
Yeah, a little startup out in California.
Oh, the one with the many-colored logo.
Yeah, that little startup out. Yeah, Google, I think, is the name of that company out there, right? So Google is launching a game streaming service called Stadia. Is it Stadia?
I figured it was Stadia, like
Stadia.
Stadium.
Okay.
Stadium, right?
Stadia. Okay. All right. I wasn't quite sure.
I don't think anybody knows at this point.
Yeah. I guess when they launch it, they'll say how.
Well, if you watch that video on the article, it probably says the word, but
probably
I don't watch video that autoplays.
Yeah, me either. So, but yeah, this seems pretty interesting. One thing that I like about it is, they're saying that it's going to be in 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR, and eventually be able to support 8K. Right. So,
okay.
What do you think? Do you think this is going to be a pass or fail?
First thought, Mike. Weren't you using Google's game streaming service?
Yeah, I think they were just calling it Stream or something like that at the time.
So my question is this just that, or is this in normal Google fashion saying, oh, that thing that we already have, forget about it. We've got a new thing that does that.
I haven't had a chance to really dig into this myself, But my suspicion is that like when I used the stream service, it went through like the whole like get an invite kind of thing, alpha
Yeah.
level or early beta access to it, and I had to wait like several weeks before my request got me actually into the system. So my guess is that this is the name because
That they
Stream Google
finally
Stream
landed on.
seems really dumb, right? Like
Yeah.
that's pretty a little too obvious. Like game streaming is called Stream. So I think this is probably the name that they came up to with that product. They probably did some improvements based on the testing and the feedback that they got and are now releasing it for everybody to
Yeah.
get on.
They do have more than 7,500 nodes positioned around the world. So if anybody's going to do it and do it well, I think
Yeah.
Google has the best chance.
Mhm.
But again, that all depends on the end user, the end user's connection. But end users are not going to take that into consideration. And if their connection is not good and they're not having a good experience, then the platform is crap. And, many awesome things have been destroyed because of people that didn't understand or just failed to use logic and just ruined the brand.
How many of these platforms do we have right now currently before Google gets in?
NVIDIA has theirs.
Mhm.
And then Google's already got theirs. That's what we were talking about because the
Right.
beta that Mike's
Okay.
been doing.
Others, I mean, most of the others that have tried this have died, right? Like, I mean, GameFly, I think, did this for a while.
No, GameFly was Netflix video through the mail.
Yeah, but didn't they? I thought that they had a streaming
I don't know.
service that you could sign up for
Maybe.
at one point.
PlayStation has theirs on the PS4, which is new. I mean, it's been tried in the past, but the technology wasn't there. I mean, people were trying this back in 2011, 2012. And but in those cases, you were remoting into a VM, but then that just wasn't the bandwidth wasn't there, the latency was too bad, and
so it sounds like Google's bringing the fidelity for sure, right?
Potentially.
So if they bring the fidelity and have a good platform, does that equal success?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I think so.
That's the thing. That's the thing that will make this service win or fail is the fidelity. If you're playing a game, streaming it, you want it to be indistinguishable from playing it on a console, where no lag, no blur, no, so
yeah, there's three keys to this, right? Like the first is going to be latency. Like your gameplay can have virtually no latency versus playing it on your own computer. Second is image quality. It's got to be high resolution and high quality imagery with no buffering, no visual defects, that kind of stuff. And third, you've got to have a solid library of games. Otherwise, people aren't going to stick around.
If you don't have compelling content, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, they're claiming right now that they're going to offer 60 frames per second in 4K with HDR quality color at launch, and eventually supporting 8K gaming.
Well, I mean, that's something that you say because right now we don't have 8K games. Eventually there will be, and when there are, they plan to support it. But
but who has an 8K
but
monitor?
that's the point. They can say that honestly with a straight face, saying we plan to support 8K in the games in the future. Because there aren't any 8K games, that they will come eventually, and they will eventually be able to support them if the service is still around.
The trick is that looking at just what they're claiming to be able to offer right now, 60 frames per second in 4K with HDR coloring is really, really impressive. I mean, your consoles, none of the consoles provide real quality 4K gaming. And even PCs, you've got to be running absolute top of the line systems to be able to run 60 frames per second in 4K.
Right.
I mean, we're talking multiple $600 graphics cards to pull off that kind of quality in any modern game. So that's really an impressive system, because you're talking about basically putting a $3,000 plus PC effectively in front of your user. It's
All
certainly
I have to
not.
say is
Yeah, go
I hope it doesn't make me violently ill like Stevia
Mhm.
does. Because when I hear the
ahead.
name Stadia, I immediately think Stevia, and then my body like goes into defense mode because Stevia is evil.
I still like Stadia.
Stadia would be a dude from like the Ukraine.
No, Stadia.
Yeah, that's what I said. Stadia.
You're
I
right,
think that
Stadia.
would be like some crime boss in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
It does sound
So,
Ukrainian, doesn't it?
so we're talking about Google, but I think that we need to focus on the real up and comer in gaming services, because Google may be coming along, but we get the real deal coming with a gaming service delivered by Snapchat.
Well, I mean, when I think of gaming, the first brand that comes to mind is Snapchat.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that would be everybody's opinion, right?
Just like
Are,
when I think of online video streaming, the first thing I think of is Facebook.
yeah.
So what the hell is Snapchat doing in
Isn't that where
regards
you
to
get your
games?
news?
It's not where I get anything. I haven't been on
I
there in
think
months.
Snapchat is grasping at any straw that it can reach at to try to save it from its fall, right? Um, I mean, I say that, but they're doing fairly well financially. They've had an increase in revenues over the last quarter and stuff. So, but man, Snapchat is losing. It's struggling to keep growing, I guess, is probably more accurate. Their growth has started to decline, and they're um, trying to find ways to keep pushing forward. Snapchat is no longer the medium and social interaction of choice for the youngsters nowadays, which is problematic for them.
Now, you mentioned that they're financially doing okay. Are you sure about that? Because apparently they can't afford curtains. They had to cover this window with Post-it notes.
I mean, the article said that their revenue increased by 36% last quarter. So that I would consider a good thing. However,
Yeah, but how much was their revenue? That's like
if it was like
my
50
daughter
bucks
got
before,
my daughter got $2 in the mail from my mother the other day, and her revenue increased by 200%. So, yeah. how,
yeah,
how much is how much is their revenue? I want to know.
percentages can always be tricky, right? Like our $10,000 in revenue last year boosted 36%. We are still hemorrhaging billions of dollars a month.
I don't know. Well, they did. They did acquire a company, pretty great and web-based game engine startup, Play Canvas. So, yeah, I don't know.
Could be something.
This worked for Facebook in 2007, but not long. I mean, that was everybody's go-to for workplace gaming. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check in on this and see.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of us is going to try it.
Nope.
Yeah,
I don't have a Snapchat account, so, and I don't
me either.
plan on setting one up.
Yep. I'm a Snapchat never.
I would also, yeah. I'm not a fan of Snapchat. I won't use it. I would recommend nobody else use it. But
Yeah.
whatever. To each his own.
And finally, somebody
Final,
leaked some info.
yeah, finally. So speaking of Google, starting up this new Stadia, I guess I'll
Hmm.
say it like Clyde says it. This new gaming service. So seems like there was a leaked memo. So there's this famous Microsoft journalist called Paul Thurrott who leaked a memo. Says Google went big today. This is when Google announced their service, and we have a couple of months until E3 when we will go big, right? So it seems like that. Microsoft is going to have an answer to Google's gaming service that they're planning on standing up this year. And according to the article here, I think Microsoft calls it Project X Cloud, right? Snazzy name, I think. Um, but yeah, so they're planning to launch that this year as well. So I mean, if Google holds up to their end of this, and they come out with this, like what we were just talking about, 4K, 60 frames per second and all, um, you got to imagine that whatever Microsoft ends up doing, they better make it at least as good as that, or, they won't stand a chance. Because we just said, fidelity matters, right? In this type of business, right?
In this case, fidelity is the most important.
Right.
Also, uh, the fact that Microsoft would be doing this is an absolute no-brainer because
Hmm.
PlayStation's already doing it, and
Right.
if they don't, they're like losing
Yeah.
massive ground. So, yeah, when I read this article, I went, "Oh, okay. Is anybody surprised?"
No.
I would be surprised if they didn't make this announcement. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and I mean, hey, Microsoft's already proven themselves that they know how to do cloud, right? So I mean, to me, this kind of makes sense, right? And then, like you said, they already have Xbox to stay competitive there,
yeah.
keep up with PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, it's
But yeah, and in the competition with Google, see, this is where I think Google has the potential advantage over PlayStation and Xbox, in the fact that Google has potentially access to more larger library on multiple platforms. Whereas PlayStation, you're getting access to whatever your PlayStation can play. Same thing with Xbox. You're stuck in
mm,
that ecosystem. Where Google, you could probably play games on a Chromebook, on a computer, on a mobile phone, and most
Well,
most things are most everything is put out on the PC platform as opposed to some uh, private only titles like Uncharted and Halo.
yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see how this
Mhm.
plays out, right? Which one of these guys does better,
Sure.
right?
So how long until we get a Google game console?
Mm,
I don't know.
that might be
Took them
interesting.
took them a long time to come out with the Pixel, right? Um, until the users are demanding hardware and stuff of a quality that's not available on the market, maybe they won't.
Or
We'll
maybe
see.
they'll just write the operating system of the console,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think ultimately the key is for Google, like why would they want a gaming console when they're providing a system that all it requires is a simple decode phone, tablet, um,
Well, I
Well,
mean, if you're in the
computer,
game
all
streaming,
could potentially handle that. So you can mirrorcast or whatever screencast to your TV if you want to play it on a big screen.
Well, I could see them putting out a console which would be dedicated device that is spec'd to optimize or to use their service, their streaming service. You're still streaming it, but you're streaming it on to their device. And that would be good for people that don't have a big gaming computer, that don't want to build a big computer, where you could say, well, you could build that gaming computer, or you could buy this box, this console that will get you access to the thing and do it the way that, to a level that they expect.
the Stadia box.
Yeah, I mean, the console, a console doesn't mean that it has to play games locally or natively on, discs or from the hard drive.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah, if they've got this 4K service, that makes perfect sense to me because the fidelity is going to be there, right?
yeah, I mean, if it's something they can offer that's it's at a reasonable price, let's say $500. If you're going to build from the ground up, you're going to build a good gaming PC, or
Well, I think you're missing the point there, right? Like you don't need a good gaming PC; you just need anything, right?
well,
So
I mean,
you
you
buy
need
the
something
$300
good enough that to support the graphics and be able to process the
It it just has
fast
to be
enough.
able to decode the stream, right?
Mhm.
So it's receiving an encoded stream, and it needs to be able to decode that. So anything that could render 4K video should be able to do this. So that's a
Well,
smartphone.
okay, let's put it this way. For people that they have a laptop or they have a desktop, but they would prefer to play it on their TV, like me.
Yeah.
I'm not going
So
to hook up my laptop to my TV. That's just
yeah.
stupid.
I mean, the thing is that most of your smart TVs actually include processors capable of decrypting 4K streaming video. So you really don't, they could build apps for smart TVs. My LG TV has a quad core GP or quad core processor that it's like I don't even remember which one it is, but it's a pretty sizable processor, pretty comparable to what you get in a smartphone. It would almost certainly be able to decode the 4K stream that they provided. So potentially an app for your smart TV, maybe only higher end smart TVs, but my bet would be no on the console, and they release apps and similar things that are capable of doing it. You're maybe probably not on the Echo or the Fire TV Cube, but something similar that Google releases.
Yeah, so like Parking Dog had asked, hasn't this been done before? And there have been several people that have tried. And,
Steam did
well,
this, right?
Steam wasn't live streaming. They were doing a console version of basically a computer that you connected to your TV, but that was still local content.
And the fidelity wasn't there like what this is promising to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but like the Ouya offered or promised that. There have been lots of different services that have tried this. A couple that have had hardware in the past that hasn't gone well. The one that is going strong is the NVIDIA streaming via the Android TV, the NVIDIA Shield. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, so the NVIDIA Shield is a perfect example of, buy this $300 or $200 thing, then you don't have to use your computer. You can just hook it up to your TV, and then you can also do other things with it. Because Android TV, it's got a processor that's good enough. So maybe they'll just maybe their console will just be Android TV. They'll just bake this into all the Android TVs, and I'd love that. I miss my Android TV because I
Mm-hmm.
can't get a decent, and I don't want to. I can't bring myself to buy a 4-year-old box that hasn't been updated in the Shield.
Right.
Don't do
want
it,
something.
Clyde.
I want something shiny and new.
Yeah.
So
Well,
all
maybe
right.
Google will announce one this year.
Yeah, so Stadia, we look forward to seeing how that works out. And Parking Dogs, thanks for the follow and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
This is the point in the show where we like to thank those amazing people that help make this show happen every month. And yes, I am talking about our number one fans, the people with the loudest voices, the patrons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could make the case that they may not all be all there because they're not very what's the word, they should do something better with their money. But I'm not going to complain.
There's nothing better to do with your money than give it to us.
Absolutely. We're here every week, every Wednesday night, and whether we want to be or not, we are here because there are patrons that say, hey, we want to see you, and we're willing to throw dollars at you. So if you're not already one of our patrons, and you find value in this show, patreon.com/the VOD Squad. We don't need much, but patrons do get some perks, like you get your increase, or you get special roles and privileges in the Discord server. You get custom RSS feeds. Al-Anon keeps demanding shirtless, but you don't want it. Trust me, Al-Anon, you'll get it. You'll get that chance when we're at the lake house in Indiana in 2 months. We don't need that on stream. Twitch will probably shut us down. But yeah, also the patrons, like I said, hey, they have the loudest voices. When they make suggestions or they make requests, we do what we can to make that happen. So if you are not a patron and you would like to be, we would like you to be too. All right, enough pandering. Why don't we check in with Big Voice Jay over at the Movie Draft headquarters?
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of March 11th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay, keeping it short and sweet this week, because there's only one movie out and one team on the board. Teams Virtual Misery, The VOD Squad, Drunk Kids Gaming, Game Night, and Movie Party are tied for last place. And in first place, with a 9-figure debut from Captain Marvel, it's Team Have a Drink with $266.2 million. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of March 20th, 2019.
You guys are in last place.
Hey, that's fine. I like being right where we're at, right? Because come May, we're going to start streaking up to the top.
Yeah, tied in last place with 5 other people. I feel like we're still okay. Have a drink. It's doing nicely though. That
Captain Marvel,
Captain
man.
Marvel is paying them dividends.
See, another
Sure.
example of a not great movie making way more money than it probably should.
Oh, did you see it?
I tried to watch it, and I ended up going to sleep.
The universal sign that the movie actually is good, Clyde doesn't like it. There's a reason that every
that's
movie,
not that it is good. That just means it's gonna do well.
which I was inferring
Because
that meant it was good.
pretty much everybody I've talked to or I've heard talk about it all say the same thing unless they're out there preaching the company line that's being fed to everybody through the media.
I read an article from Disney that said this was awesome, so I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
No, honestly, I loved it. I thought it was really good. I would say, however, that you should not go see it until the movie draft is over. But no, really, it was really enjoyable. It is. There are definitely slow
I
points.
wasn't
in the
saying
movie.
they were enjoyable things. It was meh.
Maybe there may have been some pacing issues or whatever, but I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Not only was it enjoyable, I thought it was a really good movie. Story is awesome. Captain Marvel is an outstanding character, and it's a good origin story in my opinion.
What were
Maybe
you
a
gonna
little
say,
slow
Jimmy?
for some people, but
yeah. So I think this bodes well for us, though, actually, because I think the people that go and see Captain Marvel, and then later they'll go see the Avengers movie, and then I think yet even later, come June, when Dark Phoenix comes out, our movie, I think they'll go see that
But
one as
it's
well.
a different universe. The people that typically
It's
like this
it-
universe typically
it's still-
hate the Marvel
it's,
or the
it's
X-Men.
still a comics. It's still a
Excuse me.
comics movie.
Well, so
Mo-
is
mo- it's
Shazam
usually-
and the other one.
Oh, yeah, I guess Shazam.
Shazam,
Shazam, but
the other Captain Marvel.
yeah, I just don't think Shazam's going to do as well as the others. I think Dark Phoenix is going to do way better than Shazam.
yeah.
Now,
this is
now, granted, Dark Phoenix won't do quite the dollar that Avengers will bring in, right? But
I don't think it's
but
going
I
to do more than Captain Marvel, though.
Oh, you don't think the Avengers will do more than Captain
Oh,
Marvel?
no. I'm saying X-Men, Dark Phoenix. I don't think Dark Phoenix is going to do more than Captain Marvel. I
No,
don't think it's
maybe
going to do
not.
these numbers.
It may
But-
not get up that high, but I could see it getting up at least close to 200. Right. That's what I think it's going to come in at. I think it's going to come in right around the 200 million mark.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see. Captain Marvel, I think it's doing really well for how long it's been out, and it's on track to make them a whole ton of money. So this definitely gives them an edge going forward.
Yeah. All I know is Us is going to have a $200 million weekend. I mean, people are excited after Get Out and the other stuff that Jordan Peele has done. People
Is
are
that
super
coming-
excited. So
That's this weekend, isn't it?
it is. I've already had someone ask me if I wanted to go see it, and I was like, it's not kind of my movie.
Yeah, but it's going up against Hotel Mumbai.
Exactly. Between those, all the people that already saw Captain Marvel, they're like, "Oh, what are we seeing this weekend?" I guess Us. So I think this is going to be a good weekend for me. I'm going to come out of the gates running. But
Yeah, maybe if they have Movie Pass.
oh, I don't care. That's still a full price ticket.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. Was because I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to see it, but then it was, if I already had my movie pass, then absolutely I'd go see it, because it's nothing out of my wallet.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, we should probably get around to wrapping this up. And before we do that, let's get into some rants and some raves. Yay, black screen. Because something broke earlier. All right. Well, who wants to take it? Who's got a rant? Who's got a rave?
I don't know if I got any rants or raves. I'll just mention a couple of shows that I've been watching lately that I'm enjoying. So maybe reserved raves. Lethal Weapon and Big Bang Theory. So if you're not familiar with the Lethal Weapon TV show, obviously it's a riff off of the Lethal Weapon movies. The main character, Riggs and Murtaugh are, similar to the main characters in the movies. You've got an experienced cop that's, more conservative, closer to his retirement, and wants to make it through the day without getting shot at or having to shoot anybody. Then you got the crazy cop that is kind of trying to get himself killed in any way that he can, as long as it's on the job, right? A little bit of a death wish, and it's humorous. It's probably a little bit more action than humor. I don't know if that quite tracks with the original movies. The movies I felt were pretty even mix of humor.
Well,
and
how
action.
far into the first season are you?
I think I'm like 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, it balances out. The first couple episodes, and if you remember back, you probably don't remember 2 years ago when I was talking about it.
Yeah.
The first couple episodes was all about, what'd you blow up today? How much of the city
Yeah.
did you destroy? And then you finally get to an episode where it's like, wait, nothing blew up? Nothing was destroyed? And they kind of get
Right.
away from that, and they find a good balance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with the balance as it is. I think that I like the humor of the movies, and I'm not getting quite as much of that yet. But it's a great action, and it's fun. The characters are cool and good, so I'm enjoying it, and we'll continue to watch it at least through probably the first season, and then if it's keeping me entertained, then I'll continue on. Watching that on Hulu, and then I'm also watching Big Bang Theory, which I fell off in season 7, and so now I've just gone back, and unfortunately there's no easy way to get those short of buying them on YouTube. For whatever reason, you can't buy them on Amazon, you can't stream them on any of the streaming services. But I finally found that you can buy them on YouTube, so I bought the season 7 on YouTube, and I'm watching that. And it's still fairly hilarious and fun to watch. Lighthearted, easy show to watch right before you go to bed.
Yep, absolutely. Jimmy?
Okay, so this past weekend, me and my wife were sitting around thinking, let's watch a movie. So we was going through, the movies to try to see which one to rent. And we came across this movie called Bad Times at the El Royale.
The movie that I told you that you definitely needed to watch. What did you think?
I got to say, it was pretty entertaining, actually, right? It wasn't bad. I mean, it's not going to make my top 10 list, right?
No, but it was a good movie.
But it was, it was entertaining. I got to admit, it was suspenseful. You know, the actors that they had in it was, quality actors, right? And it was really entertaining. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, I'd recommend, rent it and watch it. Because it's a decent movie.
When I watched it, it had a feel that was more reminiscent of, like, let's say, some of Hitchcock's work. It was smart, and they never ended up going where you thought they would be going. When you get an idea, I know what's going on. Oh, wait, no, I don't. And
you could see some elements of Hitchcock. You could see some elements maybe of Tarantino, perhaps.
Maybe,
right?
yeah.
Something like that.
There
right?
was a little bit of old, a little bit of new. It was a nice, nice blend.
Yes, exactly. So it wasn't bad. Like I say, it's not going to make your top 10 list, right? But definitely, if you want an entertaining movie, it's a weekend, you want to rent one, you're not sure what to watch, Yeah, I
It
would recommend it.
definitely deserved more than $17 million.
Yeah, yeah. A little surprising that it only made that much. You know,
Well, we already established why it did as bad as it did. It was because I loved it. The
oh,
rule
okay.
of Clyde dictated that it had to be a bomb.
Yeah,
But yeah, great movie. I recommend everybody check it out.
yeah.
It's not something that I think will ever fit into the movie party. It's not bad enough.
No.
Um, and I mean, it was an original story. It
Yeah.
was not something that I expected. It was suspenseful, and it was entertaining,
Hmm.
and it left you guessing all the way to the end. So
Yeah, yeah, it did. And one other thing I want to mention, I mean, this has been out for a while, right? But Google Plus ending, right? Just today, earlier today, I downloaded my Google Plus content, right? Because they're getting ready to shut it off. Matter of fact, I got an email saying, "Hey, you might want to go out and download your content and everything." So I downloaded mine, and all. Sad that it's being shut down. I much preferred Google Plus over Facebook, right?
mhm.
And and I thought it did fine, for a while, but then it started going south. I guess the kids just
Well,
left it or whatever,
Google
right?
Plus Google Plus became something great. It didn't become what
Hmm.
they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be a competitor for Facebook. They wanted it to be a
Hmm.
social network. What it ended up becoming was a good forum. It was
Yeah.
like basically all of your forums in one place. Your news groups, your whatever's. I mean, that's where.
So so then why shut it down?
Well, I mean,
Right.
because they weren't able to find a way to really monetize it, and the number of people that they wanted to be using it weren't there. Like I said, they wanted it to be the thing that everybody uses, not a niche, few. Um, because that's where I used to converse with everybody about Google TV. We had
Hmm.
the Google TV group, and then
Hmm.
that changed into the Android TV group. Pre this show, there were some really smart people in there, and all of my interactions on Google Plus. And this is the thing that I absolutely loved about Google Plus is civility.
Hmm.
Everybody was civil. We could
Yeah.
have compelling conversations, discussions. Nobody screaming at each other or pointing fingers and calling names. Um,
Yeah.
there,
Nobody's saying that something sucks,
yeah,
right?
and it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
because you ended up in a group. You joined a group because it was something you were passionate about,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, but that's not the way Google they want it had intended it for being used. So whatever. I'm kind of sad to see it go, but on the other hand, I haven't used it since like 2014, 2015. So, I mean, that's part of the
Well,
problem is a lot of us that were using it stopped. And
well, one thing I'll say is, if you go out and download your content, they make it super easy
mhm.
for you to download, right? I mean, it's just a few clicks, download it into an archive file, right? And then you got all your saved content there.
Yeah, I will remember. I remember one year. One of the first years I went to CES after joining Google Plus. That's how people were contacting me from the group saying, "Hey, Hisense has a new Android or Google TV.
Hmm.
Um, Go check it out." It's like they were
Hmm.
giving me info and asking for feedback and sending me, "Hey, ask so and so this question," and it was cool, And but uh,
Yeah,
such is life.
c'est la vie.
Yeah. So, yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier. I signed back up for Movie Pass, and
Mhm.
I kind of feel dirty. I've said it before. It's like an abusive relationship. This time, it'll be different. I know this time Movie Pass really loves me, and it'll never happen again. So we'll see. We'll see if we get through the summer. Although I will say, after reinstalling the app, it's the app that I remember. It's the app that I loved. And that was the thing that I hated about Cinemia, was their app is terrible. The last couple movies I've been forced to go to AMC, and I have not been happy with these. Like, at least two of them were in the ultra expensive, whatever they call that, theater, and the seats, they don't even recline all the way. Your feet like come up to like a 45-degree angle. and also I end up getting super sick every time I eat their popcorn, because of the oil that they use does not sit well. So, but it was a thing where I kind of had to, because I was taking my kids to see something, and that was the only convenient theater. So
your feet only come up 45 degrees, so it's the inverse of an airplane seat, right?
kind of. And the seats these were two different AMC. First I thought it was just the one, but then I went to a different AMC at a different in a different town, and it was the same thing, that because the seats are so close to the wall, stay in behind, so it reclines just about as much as an airplane seat. And I'm like, from the Marcus Theater that I've been going to, where it's got, and also the Alamo. I mean, Alamo, you don't get a full recline, but you at least get more. You can get your legs out straight. It just doesn't go all the way back flat. The Marcus is like a living room recliner. It'll let you go like completely flat if you want, because it slides out. But yeah. And yeah. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't go to AMC. Again, that's not. It's just every time I go there, I'm reminded of why I don't like going there.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a regional thing, but the AMCs around here are so dirty and gross.
Oof.
Yeah, it's just too many people going through, and nobody has any respect for anybody else. So
your feet stick to the floor.
Draft House.
Yes, I wish we had those.
We have a Draft House here. I like the unlimited popcorn, but like I said, I prefer the Marcus because the seats recline more.
Yeah. Draft House is definitely focused more on the dining movie experience. So the seats don't really recline, right? Like you're mostly sitting upright, because it's hard to eat while you're kicked back with your feet up. And so I like it.
And that's one thing I really like about Marcus, is because they do have their bistro. So they've got a couple designated theaters that are bistro. So like that experience, but their seats do recline all the way, and the table swings out if you don't want it in front of you anymore.
Right.
With the Alamo, I find it a little bit difficult getting back out of there, because when you're sitting down, you kind of slide in under the table and then trying to get out.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I don't really have any complaints about Alamo. Other than there's one Alamo here, and it's about at least a half-hour drive if I want to go there. So it's not super convenient. If I'm in that area, then yeah. But
yeah, that's one thing that's the complaint I have about it. Don't have any around West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, maybe you need to look into a franchise.
Yeah. Or
open one. You could be the Alamo King of Florida.
I just recommend moving to Austin. There's lots of Alamos here.
Yeah. I'll save that for after.
I know what you were going to say.
Let me just mute real quick. All right, unmuted. All right. Hey, I think we can go ahead and wrap up. But thanks guys for hanging out. Mike, if you're, or they say Mike. Mike, thanks for being here. Matt, if you're watching this, you better be back next week. But
yeah, we struggled.
We missed you. We missed you. Yeah, and all of you hanging out here with us live, make sure stick around after. If you go out to tbs.showbot.tv, there should be at least a couple titles there that we can vote on. The link's there in the chat. And for those of you watching or listening to this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night. You should join us Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central, here on Twitch. And again, thanks to the patrons. You guys rock. See everybody in the post show.
Laters.
Bye.